It's been a little over a year now since Steamforged Game acquired Warmachine. The question is, have they been good stewards of this game that we all love? My name's Ryan. I used to be good at Warmachine. Welcome to Spell Rack. In my opinion, after having played the game for about a year now, getting back into it, I think Steamforged has done an exceptional job with Warmachine. I think they have really evolved as a company and shown the miniatures industry maybe what a modern kind of company in this space looks like. I think the connectivity with their patrons as well as their model production has been second to none. So model production is something that I want to talk about today and look at what Steamforged has done that I think is really, really exceptional. So here I'm just on Steamforge's website. If I click over here, I can click into Warmachine. And then once I get into Warmachine, there's this Warmachine 3D. This is the section of their website and the portion of the model range that can be downloaded as STL files that you can print at home on your own 3D printers. This is a significant evolution in miniature gaming. The fact that you can print off not an entire army, but a lot of pieces, really offers a different way for people to interact with both the hobby and the game itself. So let's look at a little bit of the stuff that they have here to offer. The main way that you gain access to the STLs here under this Tribe tab is they have monthly releases. And so I'm going to come down to this welcome pack. This is the first release that we had a few months back. And these are the models that you were able to 3D print. Coming down, you had this Crix Hive Mind Cadre. They introduced a brand new Warcaster who is absolutely exceptional. New units, solos, and monstrosities. They also have this incredible terrain set to help really add a lot of character to any battlefield. And when I say character, I mean, there's lots of different ways, but here it's really on brand and on theme with Crix. And you'll see that that is something that Steamforged has really been striving for, giving us different things that we need to play the game, objectives, terrain in different factions. Here we have, different weapon swaps inside of Crix, really a way for you to express yourself and make unique models and set your army apart. And then obviously we have defenses here. Again, this is something that each individual faction is going to get access to in time, as well as objective markers and base toppers. Going to come back up and look at this most recent release that we got last week. Here are the files that were released in September. Again, a significant range of models that you can just print at home. Here in this September release pack, the first thing that they showed us is an extreme Warcaster for Umbri. Absolutely beautiful model. Old Umbri is obviously the faction that everybody's really excited about right now. People are collecting. Everybody's getting their kits right now. And to have the chance to get this additional Warcaster model straight off the bat, to take it home and get excited to print it and paint it, it's just a really, really, really great way that Steamforged has allowed their community to connect with the game. The other thing is these Dark Operations models. Dark Operations is a legacy faction, but they're kind of breathing new life into them and really making them into sort of one of the prime factions. These models, whether you like the aesthetic or not, absolutely gorgeous. I love these models. I think these guys are so cool. Different characters, different poses, different looks. What a great unit. And then you have back to Exelanthexis. This is a reproduction of an old model, but it's a cast that you can now get, whereas something you would have had to have gotten, secondhand before. Same thing with the Dominator here, just a solo. And then my absolute favorite unit that is in this release is these Dominated Stormblades. Signar is an aesthetic that I really like. Crix is an aesthetic that I really like. And having these kind of half monstrosity Stormblades that still have their armor, but they kind of feel like walking corpses a little bit, is such a cool aesthetic. I'm really excited to see these guys painted up get some of that bright blue in there with some of the kind of the dinge of the skin and the dirt and the grime that gets on the models. These guys are going to be absolutely beautiful. I'm really excited to see their rules. And then going back to the theme of having individual components tailored to each army, here's Old Umbree's defenses, just like we had for Crix. You have your objectives and then defenses. And then here's a terrain pack. Now, this is not Old Umbree, but this is a little bit of a look to our new troll faction that we're going to get later this year. And again, it just gives you wonderful pieces of terrain to print up, paint, put on your table to really bring everything to life. I think Steamforged has done a great job with all of these. To go back, the other item that they offered inside of the store is you don't just have to buy those subscription packs. You can actually buy individual models. So here, there's a lot of individual models that you can look at, look through, find ones that fit your army. Here's an Old Umbree. Here we have Drudge models, again, looking towards that Dark Operations, more Old Umbree, a little bit more Umbree terrain, and just all this stuff to have access to these is, again, it adds so much character to the game. This defenses set, I bought this set, in a box for, I think it was only $20, but here I could have printed it off. If I need more walls, I can print off more walls, like absolutely fantastic. Even something like this it's free, it's $0. But the access to all of these models and all of these kits, it's just such a step forward in, I guess, modern wargaming to give people access to this stuff. You don't have to have the massive budget to get into the game. Not that a 3D printer is cheap, but if you have a 3D printer, it's pretty easy to step into some of this stuff and to complement your army. If you do already have an army, it's also a really great way to kind of trick it out when, we're all special snowflakes a little bit. We like to have our special toys. The other item that I simply wanted to talk about a little bit was just the app itself. Any game like a War Machine or a 40K or Age of Sigmar, or any of that stuff, there's a really steep curve to getting into any of those games. The primary curve people would think about as monetary. They would look at an army and say, oh, well, that's, I got to spend $1,000 to get an army. I got to spend $2,000 to get an army just to play it. And maybe then I even don't have access to everything I need. I need to go get this and I need to get that and I need to get rule books. One of the great things about War Machine, and this is not new to Steamforged, but still I just want to pay respects where respects are due towards War Machine, is all of the models are here. All of the models are available inside of this app. You have the core rules of the game and you have cards for every model. Old Umbree just came out. You want to know what Old Umbree does? You can download the app for free. You can go look at those models. Those Stormblades that I was just geeking out about, if those get released here soon, they're going to be in the app. You get to go look at the rules. There are no gotchas, nothing's hidden, nothing's secretive. You want to know how to play scenarios? Again, those things are in the app. So really, I do want to show some appreciation towards Steamforged for keeping up the legacy of having the free rules and the free cards, keep accessibility to the game, help players bridge that biggest hurdle that is rules, and then secondarily, allowing models to be 3D printed just is a wonderful new way that people are allowed to connect with the game and explore their own hobby. You're able to further your own skill sets in pursuing 3D printing. If it's something you've been curious about, now you have a real reason to do it. I know I myself have acquired a 3D printer. I have not printed any of these new models yet, but I'm really excited to do so. Last little point of comment that I want to give is really regarding the subscription to the War Machine app and being able to get the free model. Being able to get a Journey Warcaster with the monstrosity is an excellent way of really monetizing an annual subscription that's $70. It feels worth buying anyway. And then to get a model on top of it that literally every army can take is again, it's such a good deal. It feels like there could be more monetization by Steamforged, and they're really respecting their players here, and not trying to just, drive every dime out of us. So I've been very excited for having been in this game for the last year, been back in the game for the last year. I've enjoyed the time with Steamforged, and I'm really excited to see where they go as they close out the year and as they get into January with new erratas and new factions and looking forwards and all that stuff. Really, really, really exciting time to be in War Machine.